Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Big East Rewind. I'm Chuck Everson, your host from Villanova, and my co-host, as always, my point guard, my buddy, number 23, Sonny Spera from Syracuse University. How are you, Sonny?
Chuck, I'm great. How you doing? I'm excited about our guest today.
Yeah, I am too. And I would talk to you like this, Sonny. I would say, who was the guy that changed the program for Syracuse back in the day? When this guy got to Syracuse, everything changed. Who was that guy for you?
Mark, you want to answer that for me?
Yes, that's the easy one. That's the Pearl.
Pearl Washington.
That's right.
No brainer. No
That's
brainer,
right.
No doubter.
And I would say if I had to pick somebody from Nova, I would say probably Ed. When Ed came in, things got a little different for us. We started winning games and stuff like that. So the guy that we have with us today, and you already talked to him, is the guy for Seton Hall that when he got in the door, when he came in at the Hall and he got to go to school there, it changed everything for Seton Hall. This guy is a Seton Hall of Famer with over 1,900 points to his credit and over 900 boards. Pretty good career. First pick of the Portland Trail Blazers and the 21st pick overall in the '88 draft. He's had a 15-year NBA career, held a lot of longevity in the NBA, and now is an assistant coach with the Phoenix Suns. We're talking about the head pirate himself, Mark Bryant. Mark, thanks for coming out with us today, man.
Oh man, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to this time talking with you guys, talking about the Big East, past Big East. I'm really looking forward to talking to you guys.
Now, before we get started, I just want to put a comment out there. Mark was complaining about a couple of gray hairs he has in his beard. And if you're watching this on video and you see me and Chuck, like, you think we got any sympathy
You got
for
nothing to
him?
complain about, Mark.
No, I got a lot of gray hairs, man, and it's from coaching these young guys, man. It's from coaching these young guys. That's where all my grays come from. I had no gray until I started coaching.
That's why Pinckney stopped coaching, because he was getting too gray. He said, "That's it. I can't do it anymore." So he goes, "I'd rather be a scout than coach these guys." I get it.
But so, I love it though, to watch the young guys get better. Teaching them, and they're willing to learn.
So, Mark, tell me, how much did the physicality of the Big East Conference, playing against guys every night like Patrick, Billy Winnington, Ronnie Cycli, guys like that you had to bang, how much did that help you prepare for your time in the NBA?
I mean, this was definitely a stepping stone for me. Getting through guys like that, getting my confidence up, playing against the Patrick Ewings, the Bill Winnington. It's not too many conferences you're going to meet guys like this.
Every day.
So when you know what I'm saying?
Every night,
so
yeah.
Exactly. So when I got into the league, I was like, okay, I played against one of the best centers already, Patrick Ewing. So now all I have to do right now is just get my confidence up and play the game.
Yeah, it's wild. Every night was a battle in the Big East. There was no nights off. Everybody had a couple of 2 or 3 studs on the team. You had to be ready for anybody. You got everybody's best effort because everybody's playing for bragging rights. You know what I'm saying? It's territorial, back then.
I'm gonna tell you my first game against Patrick Ewing. Right, we played him in the Meadowlands.
Okay.
Right? I got an unbelievable rebound. Man, over Pat. Unbelievable rebound. I gave him a pump fake. He didn't go for it. Right. So I went up. I was serving so nervous. This is my first year. I was so nervous. I threw the ball completely over the rim. So I said, "Oh man, I got to meet him a couple more times, man. I got to meet him a couple more times." So they really got you. If you didn't get ready playing against those guys, you weren't gonna make it in the NBA. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Especially a team like Georgetown, because they, before the ball got down to where you were in the post, they had to get through all their defense. I mean, you had Gene Smith at the top, you had the two wings, everybody was athletic, and then at the end, in the back of the press, you had Patrick erasing all the mistakes.
Right.
So just to get it to you was a challenge. Never mind,
Yeah, and they were all grimy. You know what I'm saying? Like they were into you. They was into you. Like you couldn't breathe without breathing their breath. You know what I'm saying? They was into you. So Georgetown was always tough to play against. John Thompson, God rest his soul, always had those guys ready, snarling as the ball was going up. You know what I'm saying? They were ready to go and ready to play.
Yeah, that is true. So let's take it back a minute, Mark. Let's, talk about. I know, your recruitment. You got recruited by a lot of guys. What did it come down to? What schools did it come down to before you made your choice?
It came down to Maryland,
Yep.
Ohio State,
Wow.
and Seton Hall.
Wow.
And the big reason why I picked Seton Hall, because it was for my family, so my family could see me play. Like I was right down the street, man.
I was going to say you could walk to the games.
Yes.
Your folks could walk to the games.
Yes. I used to when I was younger, I used to sneak up in the gym, Walsh Gym, and play against the college guys. I would sneak up there and play against the college guys up there.
So, okay. So I got to share this with you, Mark. Okay. I did, because we're professional journalists, Sonny.
Professional.
All right. We do our due diligence and we make calls. So I checked up on this situation and I called a good friend of yours named Coach Mike Brown.
Yes.
So Coach said to me that you hadn't stepped on the campus until they recruited you and they were bringing you in. I said, it's impossible. He's a baller. How can he not play pickup games over there?
I snuck in that gym.
There you go.
I snuck in that gym and played basketball all the time. It was some that was in the rec, some was in the rec, and some was up in Walsh Gym. We used to play a lot of AAU games up there in Walsh Gym also.
Yeah.
So
were you an AAU kid back then?
Oh yes. Oh gosh. Sandy, you ever heard of Sandy Pano?
Yeah.
I used to play with him.
Okay.
I was playing. We used to go he would pick me up in a station wagon in my house, and it was filled up with other players, and we would go play ball. And we would go play, man. There was the YMCA downtown Newark, and we would all go down there and play. David Rivers. I don't know if you guys remember Ironhead.
Sure.
He used to play football. He played football.
Yep.
He was unbelievable. Yeah, he was an unbelievable basketball player too.
Yes. He passed away too. Yeah.
Yes.
Ironhead Hayward, right?
Yes.
Now, you were tight with Dave Rivers, who went to Notre Dame.
Yes, we played with each other on the AAU team. You know Kenny Wilson? You know Kenny Wilson?
I know Kenny Wilson, of course.
Yes. Kenny Wilson. I used to play with him. He used to have a brother named Darryl Wilson.
Yeah.
He was tough. Like he was tough too. Like he should have been big time also.
Kenny's the all-time assist leader at Villanova.
Yeah.
He played my senior year was his freshman year.
Okay,
So I got to play a year with Kenny. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. All those guys, Sandy would get all us guys together and play, and we would just the ball everywhere, man. Everywhere and play.
Well,
so Mike Brown was wrong.
I'm sorry. Well, talk about the recruitment process, right? You are right there.
Mm-hmm.
Were they in your house a lot? Did they follow your AAU? Was it Coach Brown? Was it PJ?
I'm gonna tell you this story, man. My senior year, I was like, there's no way I'm going to Seton Hall. I said, there's no way I'm going to Seton Hall. And then Mike Brown, he just, hey man, you'll be home. You'll play right away. And it's the Big East. Like, that was the best, the Big East. So I was thinking about it, and I was like, man, this is right at home. I can walk down the street, and I'm right there. Everybody wants to get away from home.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to get away from home. I was like, man, this is like right in my backyard. Why would I want to go here? And that's my thoughts was going through, the basketball scene, going through my senior year, and then something just clicked and said, you know what, man, just stay home. Because my dad was coming to see me play in high school every game, going to away games to see me
Yeah.
play. You know, my mom, my grandmother, my friends, you know, at home. And I said, you know what? I got unbelievable support here. Why leave? Now,
Yeah.
I was going to stay on campus. I was going to stay on campus.
Yeah.
I wasn't
I
going to
wouldn't
stay at
imagine
home.
why. Yeah, why wouldn't you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You can always go home from mom's cooking whenever you want. You mean, but you want to have the feel of being at college, I would think. Right?
Yes. And that was it. Now, when my clothes got dirty and it started piling up, I'm going home. I'm going
Right.
home. I'm going home. You know, bring all my clothes, get them washed, and come back up to school.
Right.
But I'm gonna tell you what was really influenced me to go there. Mike Brown. Mike Brown really did a good job because I really want to say they started sending me letters early,
Yeah.
like sending me letters early. But then you know they really started talking to me, Mike. I want to say maybe my junior sophomore year, and he was consistent. He was consistent, and I think that was good. And then PJ was so good with my man. He won my mom over. God rest his soul. He won my mom over. When he got to he said, "Oh, well, yo, we're gonna take care of him. Nice guy, you know." Didn't curse not one time when he was in front of my mother. Not one time. But when I got up there to Seton Hall, I was like, "Who is this guy right here, man?"
Not the same vocabulary, right?
And that's it. But he pushed me to become a great player. He pushed me to become a great player.
Now it was you have a close. I know you're a close family, right? You and
Yes.
your sister Gail and your brother
Mhm.
Spencer, right? So
Yes.
did Spencer wind up playing with you at some point? Did he spend a year there with you at Seton Hall? Because when I looked some stuff up, you could see there was two Bryants. I didn't know if there was any correlation or.
Yes. We played a year together.
That's
We
great.
played a year. Yeah. He was my roommate.
Oh, well, okay. Now,
Yeah,
were
yeah.
you roommates back at the house 3 blocks down too, or just at school?
Just at school we were roommates. You know, at the house he had his room, I had mine, but we were roommates. You know, we were roommates. So you know, we got closer even then. You know, being on the court and you know, being in classes and helping me out with schoolwork and things like that. So we definitely played together, and he could play, man. He's about 6'3", could shoot the ball and put the ball
Yeah.
on the ground. Nice athlete. He play.
He was your older brother too, right? He's older than
Yes.
Okay.
But I got big and I gave it to him. You know what I'm saying? I gave it to him. He couldn't
As you
handle
should.
it. Yeah, his little brother got big. His little brother
As you
got big.
should.
Wasn't an accident.
No, it wasn't.
So-
He could play though. He could play.
So Mike Brown was the primary recruiter, and you mentioned about PJ came in and he gave you the schmooze, right? He gave
Yeah,
you
he
the
gave
no curse and everything.
Yeah.
Now he still speaks very affectionately about you, because when we interviewed him, he did say, and I know Chuck said it or alluded to it earlier too, that our program didn't change until Mark Bryant came in. So he speaks very highly of you coming in. Let me ask you this: when you got there as a freshman, did you feel that weight on your shoulders?
No, I don't think he put that on my shoulders like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he really put that on my
You just
shoulders like
developed
that.
it then.
Exactly. But he demanded that I come in and play hard.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? We played hard. We played hard. We played the best that we possibly can. Now, when I first got there, we won as talented as the rest of the teams in the Big East. But we played hard. We did the best that we could. And he just said, just keep playing, man. You're a freshman. You know, you're gonna be thrown into a fire right away, and then you'll get better. You'll get better as the years go by.
You had a
And then
couple of guys with you though your first year. You had Andre McLeod, right?
Yeah,
And Ricky
right.
Burton.
Mhm. Yeah.
Two of
Ricky
our
Burton.
guys.
Nice class.
You know, yeah, it's
Mhm.
not a bad class. You know,
No,
and
it isn't.
you know, and Coach PJ said that you opened the door by getting to the NCAA tournament and showing that you can have success there. I mean, because for a long time they weren't really successful in the Big East. They came from another
ECAC,
conference, the
yeah.
ECAC, and they had they were killing everybody. And we had Calandrillo on, and he said,
Yeah.
You know, we didn't want to come in here and get killed every night by these teams, you know. But you opened the door for guys like Terry DeHare and Jerry Walker and Anthony Avent and stuff like that. You know, that's big praise from PJ to give you that. You know, it changed it. When I think that's why he said it changed the program, because then they had success. That '88 team was great, and that opened the door for the '89 team to do what they did, right?
Yeah, I think like we brought on John Morton, Martin Sally, Darryl Walker, Gerald Green, Ramon Ramos.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Ramon was from Puerto Rico, but those
Right.
guys were from New York. The guys I named were like from New York, and we played together 3 years, and we were like this, man. That group was like this, and I think we just, you know, we wanted each other to do great, and I think that helped us out a great deal. And then that in that '89, they just put it all together. They put it all together, and it was a great team.
I'm glad.
I actually went to the game. I went to the game because it was
Really?
in Seattle. It was in Seattle, and I was with
Okay.
Portland. And I flew. I asked the coach, "Can I go? You know, go watch Seton Hall?" He said, "Yeah, go ahead." So I went to the game, came back, and they got a garbage call at the end of the game, Ramil Robinson, and that's how they won the game, man. That's how they won. But it's just like all of us just like grew. We grew. Those names that I mentioned, we grew. We were in the dorms together. We would eat together, study hall together, lifting weights together. Like we just grew, man. We were like brothers. We grew. And Darryl Walker is probably one of my best friends to this day. You know, every time I go to New York, you know, we go out and get something to eat, we hang out a little bit, and he comes to the game. We grew. It was like a family.
Now when you got there, because Dre and had spoke about this too. When you got there was a little bit of expectations on this class coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And because there wasn't a lot of success in the league prior to that, you know, that there was a lot to it. Talk a little bit about the progression, because you mentioned it, you got better and better. Talk a little bit about what you were seeing, like some of the things that you saw. Okay, got better players. What were some of the things that you saw going forward?
I think like you said, the better players. We brought in a point guard from New York, 2 point guards from New York. They had swagger, so that brought swagger to our team. You know, Gerald Green, John Morton, the James Majors could shoot the ball. James could shoot the ball. John could get to the bucket. Gerald Green, you know, he was our general. You know what I'm saying? So we just started forming together, and then we bring in Ramos. You know, so that kind of, we put Ramos almost was the center, and I was the forward.
Right. Yeah.
So things just came together. Just like before the season would start, we would play pickup basketball. We would play together. We you know, get our team, say, hey, you're on this team, blah blah, you're on that team. And by us playing together, before the season, I said, we're going to be a good team. It might take a couple years, but we're going to be a good team. And it happened that way. And it happened. I don't think I was the loudest leader. I probably did I'm gonna work hard every single day, and I expect you guys to work hard every single day. And that's what we did. And we just kind of grew and grew and grew. And I think PJ, he pushed us to get better. You know, we could do better than this. Don't worry about the game. He wouldn't jump on us. We lose the game by this, but the next day we come in, we get better. And it just took time, and it happened for us.
And you had to buy in, because
you had to buy in.
There's only one direction the program was going to go.
Yeah. If you didn't buy in, you would feel that okay, I'm a fish out of water over here.
Right. Yeah, the culture changed. So there's a culture change. Yeah.
Yes. I'm a fish out of water. And then you left. We had a couple guys leave. But our core stayed. And look what happened. From 88 to 89.
Yeah, you're playing for a national championship that you could have easily won.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, yes.
And to the point about the Big East,
Mhm.
Georgetown is in the finals in 81, 82, right? 84 they win it. 85 Nova wins it. 87 Syracuse loses to Indiana. 89 you guys are in it against Michigan. So it wasn't the same teams. It was Georgetown. It was Nova. It was Syracuse. It was Seton Hall. You know,
You know, I'm gonna tell you what else like changed when we beat Georgetown in Georgetown.
that's tough.
Yeah.
Not too many people beat them there.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That was it was my I think it was my last year, junior year, but I think that like that just we skyrocketed after that. After that win, it changed. You could feel like we had some moxie about us.
Mhm.
You know, yeah.
No more
That's what
Hoya
changed.
paranoia, baby.
That's right.
Yeah. Eliminates that pretty quick, right?
Exactly.
There's another game I want to ask you about, Mark. What about because I was talking to Coach earlier. Talk to me about the Pittsburgh game that you had against. They had a battle with Charles Smith,
Right.
and they had Demetrius on that team. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Right. They had Jerome Lane on that team. They had Charlie on that team. Talk about that game for a minute, because he said that kind of turned it around for you personally, and helped you get drafted where you did eventually.
I'm gonna tell you, even before that game, we were practicing. And I did something wrong. I forgot what it was. I think I might have grabbed the rebound and put it on the ground and tried to go up again. I got it blocked, whatever happened. And PJ used to go nuts when I used to grab offensive rebound and put it on the ground and get it stolen. Sometimes he'd be like, "Hey, get on the line, run. You want to put the ball on the ground, instead of going straight up, run." So I think I might have did that. And he just went nuts on me. He went in on me. He said, "That's why Charlie Smith is going to kick your ass." Is that if I curse? Is that if I say that?
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay. I was like, all right. So we go up to Pitt. All right. We go up to Pitt. And I had like one of my better games up there. And then after the game, I said, "PJ, you always bet on 00. You always bet on 00." He said, "Oh, I was just trying to motivate you." I said, "Hey, you always bet on 00." And I remember that because I remember Mike Brown was like, "Yeah, 00, yeah." He was like hyping it up. So I remember that game. It was a good game for us. But let me tell you something. Every time I went against Charles Smith, I always felt like I had something to prove. Because all these guys will always put up ahead of me. Ron Cypher, Charlie Smith, all these guys, put ahead of me. So I always feel like I had to just go at them all the time. They're great players though. But I always feel like, okay, we got this guy ahead of me. I'm gonna show why I'm just as good, if not better than this guy. So when I played against those guys, I tried to go nuts.
Speaking of PJ, talk a little bit about how your relationship developed and kind of where it's at today.
I always felt like, PJ was tough on the court, but he wasn't that way off the court. PJ had your back, but he was going to get on you if you're not doing right. And by him doing that, I felt that there's nobody in the NBA that could break me as far as coaching. So you couldn't break me. Now, would I get upset if you bench me, stuff like that in the NBA? Sure. But they couldn't mess with my mental. I said like PJ, like off the court, he will do anything for me. I could call PJ right now and say, "Hey, PJ, I need to talk to you about all this, whatever it may be." He's going to answer the phone. If he don't answer the phone, he'll give me a call right back. That's how much respect I have for him, and how much respect he has for me. PJ brought me to Seattle with him when he got the head coaching job in Seattle. That's where it really started off from right there. He brought me into Seattle, right? And he said, "Hey, you're gonna be breaking down games and taking the team through film." I'm like, "Oh, slow," because I never did it before. So PJ really got me started in everything. Got me started. Breaking down film. I should say breaking down film and taking teams through everything. He got me started in that. So I owe PJ a lot myself.
Yeah, I mean, I was wanting. You didn't play for him in the league too. You just worked with him.
I played with him in Portland.
You did. I thought so. Okay.
Yeah. I played.
So what's the difference, Mark? You got PJ the college coach, and you got PJ the pro coach. Talk about the differences in how he treated the guys as a whole, not necessarily specifically you, but how does he treat college kids versus professional players?
I mean, I think that in college, you could really go hard at these young men because you're trying to get them to the next level. You know what I mean? You could go out there and trying to get them to the next level. So you could really go hard at them, like, hey, come on now, what the whatever it may be. In the NBA, you got to figure out different ways how I can touch a player to get him to play hard. And every player has their little pressure points that you have to get to. But as a coach, you have to figure that out. And I thought, PJ, figured that out for the most part. Talking to the NBA guys. Shoot, most of the NBA guys made more money than him.
Right.
So you can't go in and try to blast those guys. You can get on them, but you can't really go out there and try to blast them. I think he changed that in that way. How to talk to these NBA men, players that's making unbelievable amounts of money.
So when you're playing, what were some of the highlights that you remember of your NBA days?
Going to the finals twice. We lost to the Bulls. I don't know if you remember when that Gatorade
Clyde.
commercial when Jordan is
Clyde
doing this.
Drexler, yeah.
He knocked all those threes down, right?
Yes. I mean, that was unbelievable. I would love to have won, but that was big time there. Going to the finals of playing against Detroit. It was great to be there, but they beat us like 3 games in a row on our home court, and Vinnie Johnson just went nuts. And they beat us. Yeah, microwave. I think another one where I scored like 30 points against Dallas. It just felt like I couldn't miss. It almost felt like when I was playing Villanova in the Meadowlands, and I want to say I had, I don't know, like 39 or whatever, and it just felt like I just couldn't miss. And that's how it felt like when I went to the pros. And it's just playing with so many great guys, like Olajuwon. I learned so much from him. Tim Duncan, David Robinson. I learned so much from those guys, and I would watch those guys play and watch their moves and try to do things that some of the things I could do, I tried to do, but there's some things I couldn't. But just to watch those guys and learn from the guys, because you can learn from guys, while you're playing.
Talk about some of the stories that went on the court with some of these guys. You got Jordan, who was a professional trash talker. You got a guy like Bird, who was a professional trash talker. How much of that stuff goes on during a real game, Mark? I mean, as players, true. We all know there's chatter going on, but I mean, it's a whole different level when you get to the league, though, I'd imagine.
It's true. I'm gonna say Larry Bird. playing Larry Bird. Right, he got the ball in the corner. I ran and I jumped at it, and he just said it real low. He said, "Too late, young fella." I said, "Did he just say?" He said, "Too late, young fella." I said, okay. So it is true. You do talk a lot. You know, he does talk. There was something else he said too. Too late, young fella. There was something else he said. I just can't remember it. But for him to say that, and he was on his way out. Like he was on his way out, and he still, was giving people the business. I said we played him in a garden. I'm gonna say it was like a 3 overtime game, a 2 overtime game. We were all exhausted. I thought he was exhausted, and he just like, man, too late, young fella. I was like, wow. So it is true. It is true. Now, like I didn't play Jordan too much. I didn't play him 1-on-1.
Right.
Too much. But Elijah one time I was playing Elijah right? And he had me on a post. And Sam Cassell had the ball. And he told Sam, give me the ball. I'll take him quick and simple. I'm like, oh, really? You gonna do that? And one of the players, God rest his soul, Cliff Robinson heard it. Yeah, he heard it. And that just made his day. After the game, he was killing the ball. Hey, killing me. He said, hey, you know what Elijah said to me, Daddy? He said, give me the ball. I'll take him quick and simple. And everybody just started busting out laughing, man. So
yeah,
they talk.
You were fortunate to play with and against some of the best that ever to play the game, Mark.
Top 50.
Yeah, top 50 players you're talking about. Elijah probably
Correct.
the best footwork I've ever seen on anybody,
Unbelievable. There was one situation, right? He did a move, like he got from one side of the court to the other side of the court. And I looked at and I fouled him. I said, ref, how am I supposed to guard him when he's walking all over the court? And the ref looked at me and said, Mark, he's not walking. That was just a good move. I said, okay, you're probably right. You're probably right. So I played against some great man. Steve Nash. I played with Steve Nash, Jason Kidd,
yeah,
Kevin Johnson. I played with some Paul Pierce.
yeah.
Played with some great players, man. I played with some great
Some
players.
good point guards in there, Chuck. I hope you heard that.
I that's all he's been named. Of course, he's naming the point guards. That's who gives him the ball, Sonny. Come on.
You got that right. You got this.
Come on.
Listen, when I played with Jason Kidd, I was like, all I got to do is just try to keep up with him. He's going to drop me off. They drop the ball off to me. All I can do is just keep up until he drops. Same thing with Rod Strickland. If I could just keep up with him, he'll drop it off and I get an easy layup.
Yep. Keep your hands up. If you miss one, you're not getting it back, right, Mark?
That's right.
Sonny won't tell you about that. He knows because he's the guy not giving the ball back to me.
Yeah, that goes in the memory banks. That's a maybe. That's a no.
That's it.
So I was blessed to play with some great players.
How did you transition to coaching?
This is a true story. My last year, right? Last year I ended up with Boston. And then that summer, I was talking to teams, and nothing really stuck. So I was working out in Houston, a place called Fundy Gym. And I seen there's a couple of guys that were working out there also that's been out the league for 4 and 5 years and 3 years. And I'm like sitting, I'm like, okay. I'm not gonna be this guy that's gonna be sitting up in this gym waiting on a call, knowing that no call is coming. So I got on the phone and I called young Donnie Nelson.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
He coached me in Phoenix. And he was coaching, I want to say he was a GM in Dallas.
Yep.
I said, hey, Donnie, I'm trying to get into this, into the coaching gig. He said, well, hey, come come on. Right. So I went out there and I did some coach. It was the summertime. I went out there, I did some coaching. I did some coaching, working with the players. And then I went back home. And he called me up. He said, hey, why don't you come to Summer League with us? So I went to Summer League with them. Worked and did my thing out there. And then we came back from Summer League. He called me and said, hey, look, man, we'd love to have you, but we don't have we don't have any money. We don't have any money. We can give you per diem, we give you a spot to stay, but that's all you're gonna get. I said, okay, fine. I did it. And I did that for a year. And then old Nelly retired in the middle of the season.
Avery Johnson.
Avery Johnson took over. So Avery Johnson didn't bring me on to his team next year. But that summer, Brian Hill called me. And Brian Hill was like, hey, man, I've been watching you since you were in high school. In high school, and I love the way you carry yourself. I want you to come to Orlando and work with the White. And it started from there. I did 2 years there, then I went to Seattle, then I was in Oklahoma for a while, and now I'm with Monty out here in Phoenix.
Now, was your main gig, Mark? Were you the main guy that worked with the players, or was it, just a regular? Were you the guy that helped them rehab and, when you're working on footwork or moves and stuff like that?
That's what it was. Working on footwork, moves, how you see the game, what you need to do to get ready for the game, your mindset of the game, the physicality of the game. I talk to them like that. But the biggest thing about coaching, right, is getting to know a player. I think it's getting to know a player, and then it's basketball. Those basketball players are people too. Everybody's, basketball players are people too. They get their feelings hurt just like we get our feelings hurt. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the biggest thing, just getting to try to know players so you can get the most out of our players. But for the most part, I did work with the bigs a lot, and I just showed them what I've learned, throughout playing with great players like the Elijah one, the Tim Duncans.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just regurgitating that to them. And I just do the best I possibly can. I go in there, I jump in there a little bit. I'm old now, but I can't do it as much anymore. My body don't work like that. Every now and then I'll jump in, because I think it's very important for them to see that, I'll get into the dirty water with you. I'll fight with you. And I think they respect that a little bit more.
Yeah, it's all about building the respect, I would imagine, right? I mean,
yes.
And it's got to be tough, Mark. I mean, listen, you played the same time Sonny and I played, so you're not exactly, or I'm not you personally, but somebody our age is not exactly in touch with some of the stuff that makes a 20-year-old kid go. You know what I mean? True. And I'm sure you've had to pick up things along the way to be able to communicate what you want to communicate to somebody who's a youngster and is a brand new millionaire and has got everything going on swirling around them. How difficult is that to get a kid like that to respect you for what, for you being there and being there to help them?
I think this is how I come out here. I say, hey, look, man, I'm gonna come at you. I'm gonna tell you when you're doing great, and I'm gonna tell you when you're not doing great. I'm gonna be straight up with you. And I think guys respect that. I don't care if you're 7, 15, 20, whatever it is. If you're straight up with a guy, I think they respect that. Now I don't know all this Instagram and TikTok, whatever. I'm not good with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not good with that. But I know I'm going to give you the best version of me that's going to help you out in the long run, help you become a man, help you become a better basketball player. And I think they accept that. They accept that.
I got to ask you about DeAndre Ayton, number 1 pick, right? Mm-hmm. Phoenix. And at the time, there's always questions: are we really going for the big guys anymore? There's been so many injuries and stuff. So they take that gamble, and you're the guy, right? So that's got to put a little bit on you to say, hey, here's the guy. He's raw. You got to work with him. Talk a little bit about how you felt with him as the first draft, and then how your relationship has gone, because you could see what he does on the floor now, and there's no question that Mark Bryant is showing him how to play. But talk a little bit about that.
I think first of all, you got to get to know a guy. I think like before I even got the job, I looked at film on him to see what he likes, what he dislikes, what he can do, and what he cannot do, and then work from there. But I think the biggest thing is getting to know someone, what's their weaknesses and what their strength. And I try my best to get to know them as much as I possibly can. DeAndre Ayton is probably one of the best bigs I ever worked with. Like his footwork, his touch. I think he understands the game. He sees the game, he understands. Now, does he have to grow? Yes. If he wants to be, he could be one of the best bigs that come out of this NBA. One of the better bigs that come out, because he's that talented. Now, you said something about guys are not really looking for the bigs in the NBA. If you look at the teams, there's always a big that's doing something.
Yep.
Oh, you can't win without him. There's no doubt.
Yes. Like you look at Draymond, he's that big.
Right.
Looney, if he didn't play the way he played, I want to say that Dallas series, they don't win. So when people say, "Oh, you really don't need," yeah, you do. Who's gonna get the offensive rebounds? Who's gonna get the rebounds? Who's gonna set screens? How you gonna get the screen open by yourself? So a lot of times when people say that, I'll stop right there. Whoop, hold on, wait a minute. I think bigs are a big part of the game, but I also think bigs nowadays must have a great feel of the game. Now, passing, being able to shoot the ball, being able to handle the ball, I think that's huge nowadays. That's huge nowadays. And
yeah,
go ahead.
No, but what he can do in the low post, what I've seen from his game as it really has matured, he can get you bucket. You can get him the ball, and he can score on anybody, and he has a variety of things. It's not just a drop step. He's got a nice solid game, a mid-range and in. And talk about how that developed. I mean, that comes from work, I'm sure, but you have to have that relationship, like you said.
You know who he kind of reminds me of, but he's not there yet, and he still has to put in a lot of work to get there. He has great feet, almost like an Elijah, because that turnaround jumper he has is pretty doggone good.
Yep.
And his jump hook is pretty good. But you have to keep doing reps upon reps upon reps upon reps to get it great. Where you can shoot that turnaround, you close your eyes and you know where the basket is. You know what I'm saying? That's how I felt like Elijah was. Even when I played with him, like just watching him work on his turnaround, it was like almost like a layup. So that's where I'm trying to get DeAndre at. Like, it's not a whole bunch of moves. It's about 2 moves and how you get to those 2 moves. You know what I'm saying? It could be a jump hook. It could be a turnaround. But how you get
jump hook. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
If they cut that off, how can I get to this?
Yep.
If they cut that off, how can I get to that? So it's footwork, getting his footwork better. I think it's going to help him out a great deal.
Yeah, it's fun to see, because to me he's not the guy that wants to shoot the 3. He's a traditional big that I grew up playing with. That Chuck, I know that's your bread and butter too, but it's a great part of the game. It's nice to see.
Now hold on about the 3. Now all bigs want to shoot 3s now.
I know they do.
I know.
but now does he? He'll probably do 1 a game. Like he probably get 1. The next 5 games he might not even take 1.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But nowadays, I think these guys are stressing so much. Oh, B's got to shoot. B's got to shoot. Just do what you do at a high level. And I think you'll be all right.
Yep.
Whether it be rebounding, setting screens, running the floor, just do it at a high level, and you'll be great. But you got to be able to pass that ball. The
Yep.
IQ has to be high. You got to know what you're doing in the game.
Yeah, you know, let me ask you this: do you mentioned Elijah Wan and comparing him? Do you ever reach out for some of these guys that you played with to say, hey, what do you think? This is what I got going on with a certain kid, and and bounce stuff off other guys that you've played with?
I do. I do. One of my best friends, Chris Morris.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, what do you think about this guy? Hey, you need to work on this one. You need to work on that. There's also a lot of times where I'll just watch old film. And I said, okay, I can add this to that. I can add that to this, or whatever it may be. I had it like it was before a game when Tim Duncan was coaching, and I had a nice conversation with him before the game about BA. He said, you just got to give him two good moves. They give him two good moves and how to get to those good moves. What I was just talking about. That's all it is, man.
Yeah.
It's perfecting your two good moves and how to get there. But I do talk to some players about the current players that I'm coaching now. Like, what do you think? Like Chris Morris is one of the guys I really, because I talk to him a lot.
Yeah, it's good. That's good that you do that. I mean, it's always good to get a second opinion on something,
Always good, especially the guys that's been in the war, that's done it, at a high level, at a high clip. Why not get those guys? If you think you know everything about this game, you're totally wrong.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, you're totally wrong.
As a player, you're twice to the finals, and you already you could see that there was some, like, a bad taste still in your mouth. Now you get Phoenix there.
Yeah.
What is that like? And just like now you're experiencing it. How did you relate that to your players? And what was that like being on the bench now?
Yeah. I think like the players, a ton of them players that I coach a lot. I got my hands on them. Said, hey, look, man, you might not get to this spot never again. So you can't worry about little knick-knack injuries and stuff like that. You have to go put everything into it. I don't care if you're playing for a minute. I don't care if you're playing for 30 seconds. Wherever it is, you got to put everything into it because you're not promised to come back here again.
Yeah.
That's the toughest thing in the world. Like, you're not promised to come back there again. And like, it's a grind, man. It's a grind to get to the finals. Everything is hurting, but you can't concentrate on that. Everybody knows your plays, so you got to be precise at exactly what you want to do. Every situation counts, and just enjoy it too. Going to the finals is unbelievable.
I got to ask you about Monty Williams because I love the guy. And when I saw, I think it was in one of the games, Booker came on. I think he gave him a hug and he gave him a kiss. And I was like, that's just he just has this honest to goodness affection for his players. Talk about what it's like to have that environment.
I think, like, for a coach to have his players and the players know that this man genuinely cares for me.
Right.
Like, he genuinely cares for me. I think the players will run through a brick wall for him. If they're not really feeling you 100%, well, we could, go around the wall. It might take a little bit more time. We could,
Right.
You want you want your players to be like, yo, coach, what you want? What you want to do today? Let's get it, man. Let's get it. And that changes your whole team, especially if your best player buys into that. Then everybody has to follow. Everybody. But I think Monty, you know, he talks to all his players from 1 to 15. Everybody feels good knowing that he genuinely cares for them. And I think that's the biggest thing, man. It's not about basketball. It's about that person.
You could see it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you could see it. You could see it.
Right. Yeah.
It's special. And I don't care if people say, like, you know, the general public, well, you know, these are just spoiled athletes or millionaires. You know what? No way. These are people, and he connects on a different level. It's on a different level. It's really cool.
Certain guys do that better than others, right, Sonny? I mean, there's not too many guys that get to do like Monty Williams does. I mean,
he's a natural.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's prerequisite for the job, really. You know
who was good with that? I felt also there's like 3 coaches that I played for where I thought that they really cared for me. Pop.
Yeah,
probably.
I knew you'd say that.
Yep.
I felt that Rick Adelman.
Great coach.
Rick Adelman was good. And Rudy T.
Really?
Rudy T.
Rudy T.
That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yes, Rudy.
That was a tough son of
me
a gun.
Yeah. Rudy told me when I first got there, he said, Mark, just play. And I thought that just opened up my game for him. He said, Mark, just play. Just play. And I think that was huge. And he was honest. He was an honest coach. I love coaches that can look you in your eye and say, hey, this is this or that is that. I can't stand a coach that's talking to you and like he's looking up here and he's looking up there. I say, hey man, I'm right here. I'm looking at you eye to eye. Right. So when they do that, I say, I don't know about him. I don't know about him. Look at me and talk to me.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Good point. Well, Mark, thanks so much for joining us. We're running up against it, but I got to tell you, you've had quite the career, man. I mean, you should be proud of yourself. I mean, you've accomplished just about everything anybody can accomplish in the game, and you're still going strong at your very young age, Mark. And I could say that because I'm about a year or two older than yourself.
Right. I'm a blessed man. I've been blessed with this sport here, man. I know it. I know the Lord has truly blessed me with this sport that I love to do. I'm doing a sport that I love to do. This is not work for me because I love doing it.
Sure, I gotta ask you one thing. In all your travels, was there anything like the Big East tournament in Madison Square Garden? Anywhere you ever played?
Nothing like the Big East tournament. There's nothing like the Big East tournament.
You played in 2 NBA finals. You've coached in an NBA final, and you are saying it right here.
There's nothing like the Big East tournament. I love the Big East tournament. We would take our bus to the hotel in New York, and then it was on and popping at the game. It was a great atmosphere. We can't beat that atmosphere. Is there anything like that now? Is there anything like that now? I don't know. Is there anything like that? Is there anything close to it?
The Big East finals.
Big East final. I mean, listen, Seton Hall and Villanova in the finals are pretty close. I mean, we've had a couple of those battles, man, and it's
weekend at the Garden.
We were there for those. It was pretty electric, but you definitely felt the buzz when you walked in the building, during that time, man.
You know what I'm upset about? I really can't get to the games like I want to. I can't get to the games like I want to. I miss it. I can't get to the games. I had all my years. You know how many games I've been to since I got into the NBA? One game.
One. Really?
One game.
Wow. The championship game, right?
One game. Well, I'm talking about that championship game. Well, actually 2 then. I should say 2. Seattle, and then there was a home game in Jersey. That was it. Out all these years. I'm like, man, I wish I could get some more Seton Hall games. I wish I could.
Yeah. Well, it's been a lot of fun, man.
And Chuck, I don't see no Seton. I know you had a Villanova shrine over there. I see
shrine. He called it the shrine.
Right. Yeah.
He called it the shrine. I didn't say a word.
Yeah.
There's a lot of There's a lot of Villanova stuff.
Yeah, there's not one.
Hey, it's
Seton
not
Hall
all
fan
from my teams either, Mark. You know?
Okay.
That's
Okay.
hilarious.
I didn't say a word. I've been telling him.
I
about it
know,
from the
I know.
beginning.
I'm gonna have to start blurring myself out here.
Yeah, you're gonna have to, man. I'm like, man, is there a Seton Hall one thing up in there? I know you went to Villanova. Like, geez.
No, there's no Seton Hall. Sorry. You got blue and white, but not the same color blue.
It's all
Well, on
good,
that
man.
note, thanks.
It's all good.
Thanks a lot for hanging with us, man. We really appreciate you coming out. I know it was tough with your schedule and everything to make time for us, so I really appreciate it. And I want to thank your sister Gail for working you over for us, because we got to her somehow, and I know she beat you up a little bit.
Yeah.
So shout out to my girl Gail.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
thanks
Thank
for
you,
helping
Gail.
us out.
She did. Hey, man, I
All right.
enjoy. I really enjoy this. I'm glad I got a chance to talk to you guys, and hopefully answer your questions.
Tell some of your guys. We've been trying to get some of your guys that you mentioned earlier from the hall. You know, and
Okay.
I've been getting ghosted, so I'll talk to you off the air in a second.
Okay. That sounds good.
You've been listening to the Big East Rewind with Chuck Everson and Sonny Spera. Big East Rewind was produced and directed by Nick Chico Chorus and Daryl Gurney. You can check us out on all things social media. Just put in Big East Rewind. As you get on YouTube, put in Big East Rewind, and all of our shows will come up. We ask you that you like and share them with your friends. Thanks a lot. Have a great night.